I was raised off of Route 3, out past where the blacktop ends. We'd walk to church on Sunday morning, race barefoot back to Johnson's fence. That's where I first saw Mary, on that roadside picking blackberries. That summer I turned a corner in my soul down that red dirt road. It's where I drank my first
Atlanta Motor Speedway, located 20 miles south of downtown Atlanta in Hampton, Georgia, has come a very long way from the first race, held in 1960 and won by NASCAR legend Fireball Roberts, who also took the pole at 133 miles per hour. Spectators from that day who watched from one small grandstand or on blankets spread out on adjacent dirt bank wouldn't begin to recognize the facility today, even down to the name. Dubbed Atlanta International Raceway when it opened, the track struggled financially through the 60s and 70s before finding a degree of stability in the 1980s. Real change came following Bruton Smith's purchase at the facility in 1990, with the transformation of Atlanta International Speedway occurring in 1997. With extensive reconfiguration that switched front and back straightaways and added a double dogleg in the new front straightaway. In the 7 intervening years, new grandstands sprouted almost every year, and a 9-story tower, Terra Place, that houses the track offices and a number of luxury condominiums. Atlanta has been a staple on the NASCAR calendar for decades. Tonight, it's the PSRA Open ARCA Series Red Clay 150, and it's next on Track Limits Network.
First car, I tore it all to pieces. I learned the path to heaven is full of sinners and believers.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome again to the PSRA Open ARCA Series Season number 3, the Red Clay 150 coming up next. I'm Steve Singer with Track Limits Network, joined in the broadcast booth by Chris Goins. What's going on, Chris?
Hey, what's going on, Steve? How you doing today?
Not too bad, buddy. Thanks for joining us here, helping us out with the absence of Zach Millett for the next couple of weeks. We're going to be alternating booth mates here this season. Glad that Zach has helped us out, and Chris going to join us up here as well. Practice just about wrapped up. About a minute to go here. Let's go to the race details first. 68-degree ambient temperature, 19% humidity, awfully dry for Atlanta. Clear skies, no wind to speak of at all. Track temperature 78 degrees. Race distance is 100 laps, 150 miles, 70% fuel, 4 sets of tires available over the wall, and no faster pairs. Count them, 0 zip zilch, and 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish if necessary. Fast time in practice with 20 seconds left. Bobby Hamilton Jr., then Frank Griffith, Corey Bigley, Andrew Phipps, and Will Jones. That's your top 5. Quick check on the stream chats. We got Mike Fahey says, Mr. Goins here tonight, and Terry Crouch jumping in saying hey to Goins in the booth as well. Thanks for checking in, guys. Terry, thanks for keeping an eye on us, man. So practice is over, black and red flags on the session. We're going to just waste no time here. We're going to get right into qualifying. And Chris, I'll pick your brain a little bit. I don't know how much experience you've got in these newer ARCA cars, but I'll ask you anyway. What's really the key to success? Not so much on the race side of things, but to turn a couple of quick laps here in qualifying on this worn-out racing surface.
And with this version of Atlanta, it's just getting the tires up to temp. It's so easy to kind of kick these things loose. Coming off the corners with cold tires, but you can get them up to temp pretty quick. You have a good shot at putting down a fast lap. For the most part, you can almost run these wide open for the first 2 qualifying laps. But other than that, just get them up to temp.
Talking about the abrasive track surface here, is it possible to almost hurt the tire even in a qualifying attempt?
It is, but you're not really worried about it. It's 2 laps. You're not going to use those tires again either. So, I mean, may as well just send it.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. real loose off turn 2, chasing it up the racetrack. Want to remind everybody, this is an open setup series, so qualifying setups at play here. Lots of nose tape on the front of that number 25 machine. First lap in the books for Bobby, a 29.043. We'll stick with him and see if lap 2's any quicker. Little check up there in the middle of 1 and 2. A little better on exit, still a little loose, but keeps his foot in it. Frank Griffith now second quick. Jeremiah Holt third. Chris Klein jumps up into the second position. Now Alan DeFries quickly takes that away. Just clips the white line and the dog leg crosses the stripe. Lap 2 in the books. It looked better, and it was. 28.953 seconds for Bobby Hamilton Jr. A stellar qualifying effort for the number 25. Over to Mike Fahey, his first lap at 29.19, fourth quick on the board. Fahey doesn't open up the wheel and the dog leg a bit, but still runs a quicker lap 2, not by much. Sixth quick with a 29.15. David Bradford now knocks Bobby off pole with his second quick lap, 28.893 seconds. Drew Blaze about to finish up lap 2. Blaze was in the hunt last week up until the last few hundred yards where he came to blows with Bobby Hamilton Jr. in another vehicle. Seventh quick here in qualifying. Keenan Kimber picked up the win last week. He sits in the 9th spot so far. Only 2 drivers in the 28-second bracket for now. Will Will Jones be the third? He is not. 29.078, just inside the top 10 for the time being. So, Chris, let's elaborate a little bit here as far as the race strategy would be concerned. What's the best way to pick up a win here at Atlanta? Knowing we got 4 sets of tires over 150 miles, that's generous, but not too generous, as Hewitt goes 5th quick.
Yeah, I mean, taking care of these tires early is going to be key. If it goes green, which I know has the capability of doing with this caliber driver, it's keeping these tires underneath you early on. Is going to be crucial to that long run pace. And if it does go green, the pit stops are going to make a big deal. Getting in and out of pit road, you can put a lot of time on some guys, but you don't want to stay out too late on those old tires either, because it will pick up a lot of time on.
Ryan Dunkelberger jumps into the top 3 with a 28.99. Rodney Roberts does the same with a 9.91. Derek Runge now 5th quick with a 29.011 with 30 seconds left in this session. Mark Truxell, Aaron Longworth, looks like they're not going to take a time in qualifying. They'll start from the back. Typical Mark Truxell style. Matt Nicholson maybe having an issue in qualifying, only got 1 lap in. He'll opt to go to the back, but did register a time, but still a 20th place for Nicholson, at least for the time being. So qualifying complete here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Again, we are on the old scan here at Atlanta, the tire shredder itself. We're not running the super speedway style racing tonight. A lot of strategy will be at play. Well, let's take a look at it here. We're ready to get going. So our starting grid for tonight's event, the Red Clay 150 on the pole position with a lap time of 28.893 seconds. It's the 13 of David Bradford. Outside pole, missed it by 59 thousandths of a second. The 25 of Bobby Hamilton Jr. Row number 2, it's Ryan Dunkelberger and Rodney Roberts. Row 3 belongs to Derek Runge and Andrew Phipps. Row number 4, from Hewitt Motorsports, the 33 of Will Hewitt. Bradford Aeroworks driver, the 86 of Cole Ansley. Row 5 will be Dominic Bettini and A.J. Rogers. Starting in the 11th position, it'll be Drew Blaze from Lone Star Racing and Alan DeFries. 13th will be Will Jones, 14th Corey Bigley. 15th starter last week's winner Keenan Kimber. Jeremiah Holt will start to his right elbow. Mike Fahey from LSR will be 17th. Josh Ingram, 18th. Chris Klein will start 19th. 20th belongs to Matt Nicholson. The 54 of Frank Griffith will start from the 21st spot. David's son, Braden Bradford, 22nd. 23rd will be Brandon Minnick. Ken Couch, 24th. 25th, old Terry Wilson. Aaron Longworth, 26th. And shotgun on the field in the 5, it'll be Mark Truxell. Keep an eye on the 5. Don't let that last place starting position fool you. He'll take care of his stuff in all likelihood and could be around there in the end. Field begins to roll away. One pace lap will be green the next time. One more quick look here at the race details in case you missed it. 69 degrees, a beautiful day for racing. 18% humidity, partly cloudy skies, absolutely no breeze. Track temperature 78 degrees Fahrenheit. Distance tonight 100 laps. 150 miles, 70% fuel on board, 4 sets of tires over the wall. There will be no fast repairs. Count them, 0, zip, zilch, 3 attempts at the green-white checkered finish if necessary. Well, Chris, we do this with Zach quite a bit. Why don't you go ahead and make a pick for who's going to win here tonight?
Go out on a limb, I think. A guy I raced with before. Let's go Will Hewitt.
Will Hewitt's the pick. Still can barely hear you there, Chris.
Can you hear me any better now?
Yes.
I apologize. Okay. Sorry about that.
In experience alone, I'm going with the 25 of Bobby Hamilton Jr. to pick up the win here tonight as the green flag is in the air from Atlanta. Bobby Hamilton Jr. looking to the outside on David Bradford for the race lead into turns 3 and 4. Bradford on the bottom, Bobby up top. At the line, who is it going to be? It'll be the 25 of Bobby Hamilton Jr. Oh, trouble behind the leaders. The 11 goes up the racetrack. We've got trouble early here. The 11 of Rodney Roberts will go through and collect multiple drivers. Corey Bigley, one of them. The yellow is out early here in Atlanta. A melee off turn number 2.
Take in fluid. Stay by those fans. Do what you can to keep cool.
At first glance, Chris, it looked like a ton of net code, but we'll go back and get a look what just transpired here. Multiple drivers. Looks like Corey Bigley, Matt Nicholson, Aaron Longworth, Terry Wilson, Rodney Roberts, Frank Griffith. Drivers from the front all the way to the back getting caught out in this one.
There's a lot of hard hits on that one there, Steve.
Sure was. Caution comes out pretty late. Bigley took the worst of it, it looks, but we'll back this further up. This is headed down into turn number 1. Watch the 11 and the 55. So Roberts goes up the track, gets into the 57. Bigley just doors Roberts pretty hard there. Fahey lucky to just get a scrape. And the caution technically hadn't even come out yet, so real late on the call for the iRacing admin. But everybody's piling in there after the fact. A lot of drivers going to opt for pit lane here. Obviously, many going to need to get some repairs completed, but maybe some drivers trying to get some fuel strategy worked out. But it does appear, looks like everybody, with the exception of maybe Chris Klein and Josh Ingram, those are all drivers involved in this incident. We'll go back down the line. Rodney Roberts, Andrew Phipps, Matt Nicholson, Frank Griffith, Braden Bradford, Aaron Longworth, Brandon Minnick, Alan DeFries, Terry Wilson, Corey Bigley. Two worst drivers of it, Andrew Phipps and Corey Bigley, with some significant damage they will need to get corrected. So, Chris, what do you really attribute that to? Is that just low tire pressure being so early on in the run? Again, they can make those adjustments and kind of make decisions ahead of time to go on lower air pressure to have a more optimum pressure later on in the run. That was what really led to that?
Yeah, I think that led to being unable to maybe catch the slide. I think honestly what you saw there was just two guys that were going for about the same real estate. It looked like the 11 thought the 55 was going to be a little bit lower. The 55 didn't want to necessarily get all the way to the bottom because here at this track, on this configuration, it is really loose on the bottom early on. So I understand why he wouldn't necessarily want to be on the bottom, but it just looked like maybe the 11 thought he was going to be a little bit lower.
I want to see how much netcode, if any, there was here. Yeah, a little bit. Not to say they wouldn't have made contact anyway. Pace car is going to head to pit lane. We'll get their first restart of the night. It'll be lap 6 when they take the green. There it is. Back underway from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Bradford able to pin it down on the bottom. Bobby Jr. still working the top lane. He'll have a bit of a run, but nowhere to go with it just yet. Bradford closes the door, keeps the car nice and wide up at the top of the racetrack. Drops it back down to the low side, turns 1 and 2. Meanwhile, Derek Runge trying to take a move here and look to the inside of Bobby Hamilton Jr. Dunkelberger back to the 4th spot. He swaps lanes, looks to the inside for the 3rd spot in turn 3. Real tight battle as the 42 scrapes the outside wall just a bit on exit. Ryan going to the top. Cole Ansley side by side with Will Jones. Might have traded paint there just a bit in the middle of 3 and 4. They got away with it for the time being, but Will Jones gets the better of it. Look for the race lead. Bobby Hamilton Jr. has abandoned the top lane, now at the bottom of the racetrack, trying to take it away from Bradford. Bradford now up the racetrack. He's going to see if his car works up top, and it does. Carries that momentum through the dogleg. Maintains the top spot for now.
tell you, Steve, in my experience, David Bradford is one of the hardest guys to pass, as you see the caution coming out here.
It's all on you. You make the call
One of
here.
the toughest guys to pass, but also does it relatively clean. As Braden Bradford, the son of David, in trouble here, puts us under caution the second time tonight. Little loose off of 4. Tank slaps it a bit. Thought he was going to spin it down through the grass. Overcorrects. Kind of goes end to end there. And does Terry Wilson get clear? Hold the brake, hold the brake, hold the brake. That was a close call.
Driving it though, Steve. That was the main thing.
He got away with that one though, Chris. You got to hold the brake in that instance. Once it goes nose up to the outside, even if you're thinking traffic could be coming, you really just got to lock it down and let those guys avoid you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the one thing you don't want to do is slide all the way back down. But you know, when he was chasing it, he caught it enough to where that could have been a lot worse for him just as a single car deal too. So he never stopped driving. So good on him for keeping it straight.
Yeah, definitely held on to it enough that he's going to have some repairs to make, but nothing that's going to end his night too early, I don't think. So still behind the iRacing pace car, not quite to the one to go yet. I'm expecting that the next time across start finish.
I gotta say, Steve, I'm glad that we're on this configuration of this track. This is really a driver's track here. You know, not to say that pack racing it doesn't take a skill involved with that with the new layout, but this really, you know, the cream really does rise to the top with these when it comes to, you know, tire saving and just driving a loose race car, things like that. I really enjoy racing and watching races on this particular track.
Really does produce those comers and goers in a lot of instances. You see these guys early on here really pushing the envelope. Just got to wonder how long they're going to be able to do so on these sets of tires, though it's been a little chaotic. Only 14 laps in, already a couple of cautions. They might not need to worry about it if things continue this way. However, if we do get some long runs here and some green flag pit stops, that's when you're going to see things change.
Yeah, absolutely. And you watch cars, kind of that mid in the top 10, you know, the Will Hewitts, the Drew Blazes, Mike Fahey's, all those guys, they're kind of just biding their time, I think, a little bit back there. These guys up front running hard, kind of burning their tires up maybe a little bit more, so you may see that lower half of the top 10 kind of working their way towards the front here if they get a long run.
Pace car makes the left turn down pit lane, ready to go back green.
Green flag.
There it is. Bradford gets away. A great restart for the 13. That'll move Derek Runge up into the second spot. The battle now for third between Bobby Jr. and Ryan Dunkelberger. Ryan running that middle lane there, not allowing Bobby to come down at all, really. Still side by side for third. Meanwhile, Runge making a look to the inside for the race lead. David got the wall a bit there on entry. I think Bobby might have followed him up there as well. Meanwhile, Ryan Dunkelberger slips back to the third position. Bobby now back to second. Give a call to Colt Ansley now, cutting his way through this field a couple of spots at a time. Started eighth, now into the fourth position. Looking for a third as he's alongside Ryan. Big push off the 55. Slide job out of Colt Ansley and a little hey, hi, how are you from the 55 of Dunkelberger. Glad they were straight when it happened. Didn't seem to phase Colt at all, and he's continuing to press on, trying to take second from Bobby Jr. Handful of the old vets working their way back towards the front. Bradford, Bobby, Colt Ansley, Will Hewitt, Will Jones, all in the top five. Colt trying to slot in front of Hewitt. Hewitt wouldn't give him the space, so Colt goes back to the bottom now, leaves the 55 top side of the racetrack, tucks in behind Bobby for a moment, but he's going to make it 3 wide here in a minute. Dunkelberger with a big-time run to the outside. Bobby's going to lose 2 spots here, maybe even 3 or 4 by the time it's all said and done. Move Colt Ansley to second, only by a nose for now as he continues to battle with Ryan Dunkelberger. Slots in behind the 55, down the back straightaway. I find it interesting, Chris, though, with all this battling behind David Bradford, he's really not getting much of a distance ahead of these guys. Only 2.5 tenths, the advantage for the 13.
Yeah, I think he's looking in his mirror and he's seeing what's working. That 55 running that high line, getting the momentum off the corner. You saw him there in 1 and 2 move to the high side some. I think you'll start to see him potentially pull away some here if he sticks with that lane. But I think he's just kind of taking it easy on his tires a little bit too.
Very well could be the tire situation. You only go as fast as you need to stay out in front. Doesn't pay any points to be out by a full 1.5 seconds. 2 tenths will get it done, especially on the last lap. Bobby's car starting to fall off early here. 23 laps in, he's fallen down to the 6th position, now battling with Will Jones.
You know, Steve, I don't necessarily see anything visually from what we can tell from this shot, but we've seen Bobby scrape the wall a couple of times getting in the corner and things like that, so I don't know if maybe he's got a little bit of damage that could be hurting the handling of that car, but he looks really loose off the corner.
Well, we saw it even in qualifying. He was extremely loose in the middle of 1 and 2, almost dirt track in that race car. Still had a quality effort in the qualifying session. Put it on the front row, second only to David Bradford. Terry Crouch in the chat says, I learned that. Only go as fast as you need to. Jesse Redding in the chat also cheering on Mike Fahey for the win. Quarter distance here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. David Bradford from pole continues to lead this field, but only by about 2 or 3 tenths. Ryan Dunkelberger has shown his strength early on. He runs in the 2nd position. Will Hewitt from 7th up into 3rd. Will Jones from 13th and 4th. Colt Ansley from 8th in 5th. Meanwhile, Bobby Jr. from the outside pole has fallen down into the 6th spot as he continues to fight it out. 4th position now with Colt Ansley, as Ansley will now tuck in behind. A.J. Rogers, last year's champion, trying to work around Mike Fahey. Bradford now starting to stretch his legs a little bit more. It's about a half second back to second place, but that position heavily contended right now. Dunkelberger trying to hold off a hard-charging Will Hewitt. Anybody that's been on the racetrack with that 33 knows once he gets it in his mind, he's going to make a pass. It's hard to get him to back off, but now he's got to worry about Will Jones. Jones had a hell of a run down the back straightaway. Now moves around the outside of the 33 of Will Hewitt. Takes the third spot away.
Yeah, Steve, that's the hardest part about making this work on the bottom is getting that pass completed. If you don't complete that pass off the corner, that high side is getting such momentum there that if they line up, then you get freight trained.
David Bradford out to a 0.7 of a second advantage over second place, the 55 of Ryan Dunkelberger. Will Jones now into P3. Will Hewitt fourth. Bobby Hamilton Jr. cracking back into the top 5. Seeing if his car is going to come back to him. Maybe that was a strategy play on his part. Cool the tires off, as difficult as that is, especially here. It seems to have worked. It's back alongside Will Hewitt now for the 4th position. Behind him, Dominic Bettini and Cole Ansley side by side. This is the battle for 6th. Tell you, Chris, you called it. Comers and goers. Some of these guys come to the front and then they go away just as fast. Will Jones was up in the 3rd position. Now he's back to 5th. Now he's taking 4th. Now he's challenging Bobby for 3rd or 4th. And loses it a little bit off of turn 2. That momentum going away. Hewitt tried to give him a bump, but they weren't lined up. Had to check up. Sorry, Cole Ansley, that is, not Hewitt.
Yeah, what you saw there, like we mentioned earlier, Hewitt learned from his previous attempt to pass on the 55 and moved to the outside of the 46 there, and a couple people followed with him, and the 46 just kind of fell back in place where he needed to. Now, the one person that is not going anywhere other than further out front is that David Bradford out in that lead.
Bradford
He's just pulling away.
1.1 seconds now over Ryan Dunkelberger, but I guess that's the question now. How hard do you push? Or is this just kind of experimentation for David Bradford? I'm sure he's put the time in, practice-wise, trying to see what the setup's going to do on the long run, the short run, everything in between. But I would almost wonder if he's pushing too hard too early, or are you just trying to push those tires to failure to see what it does, what kind of lap times you can produce at the end of that run? Does the tire completely go away to the point of failure, or does it not? Or is it all due to the fact these guys are back here in second like a hornet's nest? It almost looks like the Super Speedway edition here in Atlanta. They're all over the place.
Yeah, this is chaos. I'm glad I'm sitting up here with you for this.
Incredible racing here behind the leader.
But going back to Bradford, I think if you're going to push your tires hard to see what they do early on, or at all, is going to need to be early on. You know, you want to know what you got for the late run, and so I think that's what he's learning now.
34 laps in, Bradford just on a Sunday evening cruise. Now, let me ask you, there's trouble behind. We'll talk about this later. Bobby Hamilton Jr. involved with Keenan Kimber.
A little far away from your mouth again. Just double check that for us, please.
Kimber sustaining heavy front end damage. Bobby Hamilton Jr. car doesn't look horrible, but it doesn't look great. Oh.
And it doesn't look straight.
That's not the kind of yaw we want to see on these ovals. He is bent the wrong direction. The rate of speed that Bobby's rolling down pit lane, I venture he is not a happy driver. So let's take a look at it. The 25, and it looks like the 65 of Keenan Kimber. Kimber's just to the right rear of Bobby. Bobby's coming up, pinches Kimber in the wall, and there you see the end result. One side of the argument is it's too early, check up, cut him a break. What's your take there, Chris?
You know, like you said, it is early. You know, you kind of got a lot of give and take. I think at the rate of speed that they're going right there at the end of that trial, I don't think that the 65 would have even had enough time to roll out of it to let Bobby up there. So I wonder if Bobby was a little bit more concerned about if there was, people looking underneath him or whatnot. But I just I don't think the 65 had enough of a reaction time to be able to do it.
Well, prime example. Let's look at it from the onboard, the driver's eye of Keenan Kimber here as they roll out of the dog leg in real time. You heard him check up just a touch.
Yeah, it looks like Bobby made that move looking left under the car in front of him. And then when he realized he wasn't going to get there before the corner, he tried to widen out that angle, getting in the corner, and the 65 just happened to have filled that hole.
So first sets of tires removed and replaced on this third caution here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. David Bradford, Dunkelberger, Jones, Hewitt, Ansley, the top five. Further down the line, Dominic Bettini, Drew Blaze, Aaron Longworth, shown in the number 27, but has a 42 on the door. Hopefully we can get that corrected as Derek Runge runs the 42. AJ Rogers in the 17 with a 1 on the door. Got to get that squared as well. He chose the 1 this season as being champion last year. Kind of a Grand Prix throwback to Formula One, I guess you could say. The champion gets the opportunity to run the number 1 if they so choose. And Mike Fahey, Jeremiah Holt, Chris Klein, Josh Ingram, Braden Bradford, the top 15. Mark Truxell, 16th in the last car on the lead lap. Pace car lights are out as they roll out of turn number 2. Will be green flag racing the next time by. Lap 39 will go up on the board.
Now, Steve, based on that first run early on, watch this 55 because he moves the outside early on in the run. Now, I don't know if it hurts him later on in the run, but I think he'll fight Bradford for this lead right here early on.
I don't know. I think you're right. Ryan's got the pace and the talent certainly behind the wheel. I don't know what kind of setup experience he has. It seems like he's got the speed here tonight. We'll see what he's got for the 13 of Bradford. Even Bobby Jr. was only able to put up a small amount of a fight with Bradford early on, but here's the opportunity. The pace car is in, green flag back in the air. Little wheel spin out of Bradford on the cold tires, but not a great restart out of Dunkelberger either. Trouble off at 2. Will Hewitt is around. Yellow is back out.
Steps real quick and then tell me what you got.
And Hewitt not liking what he feels. He's just going to tow right to pit lane. So it looks like contact between Hewitt and Drew Blaze. Blaze in the black and red number 88, bottom of the racetrack. Blaze is coming up a little bit, and it looks like a little loose on Hewitt as Blaze comes up the track. So kind of column A and column B involved here. AJ Rogers gets hard into the back of Blaze. Fahey might thread the needle here. Does he get through? He does. Ken Couch getting a piece of it at the end as well. So Drew Blaze with some significant damage. He'll have to get fixed. Will Hewitt the same. I don't know if he's going to retire the race car or not. tough racetrack.
I tell you, especially with the, I know we've mentioned it before, these cold tires. You know, we saw Hewitt get a little bit loose there, you know, and with Drew coming up as well. But if they can get settled out, I think it makes for a really good race. It's just getting these tires up to temp. But like you said, it is tough around this place.
I want to try and get an onboard look with Blaze here again at speed. I think that last hit to the inside is what caused the most of the damage on the 33. Well, back on the one to go here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, approaching the halfway point of tonight's race. Front row is going to be Bradford and Will Jones. Two teammates at the front of the field. We'll see how well they race against each other. They had a little bit of a disagreement, if you will, at the duels at Daytona last week. Will Jones just trying to push Bradford down the backstretch at Daytona to push him onto a win. Ended up sending him down the infield, run off into the fence. Will Jones ended up winning the duel. Was not happy about it, which I can't say that I blame him.
Green flag.
Green back in the air. Dunkelberger going to the bottom of the racetrack for the race lead on David Bradford. Ryan way down to the white line. Bradford will have the run off turn number 4. Bradford and Jones both in the wall before they get down into turn number 1. That's going to break the momentum of the 13. I think Dunkelberger will have the lead off of turn number 2. And no, not quite clear. David still had the run. Little wiggle out of Dunkelberger off of 4. Keeps it off the wall at the stripe. Ryan will lead that lap. Tell you, that 55 definitely looks fast out there. Bradford's going to do everything he can to make sure he does not let him clear. But off turn 2, I think it's all but inevitable. There he is. Bradford sticks it there, looking for some help from Will Jones, and now he's got it.
Yeah, I was watching that 55 on that first run there, Steve. He's real comfortable on that outside lane now. So I think once he clears Bradford here, he may start to pull out a little bit on him early on. But obviously, getting clear of Bradford is going to be the hard thing.
Working the throttle quite a bit in the middle of 1 and 2, but now Bradford in the rears is Dunkelberger's sole possession of the race lead. But Will Jones is going to work around the outside of Bradford as well and take the second spot as they still run side by side. Will Jones makes the move to the inside. for the race lead. Can Dunkelberger hold him off? Outside is the advantage with that momentum. Jones way down the bottom of the racetrack. It's going to open the door for Colt Ansley to jump up into the second position. Now keep an eye on the 86. This is the old Scar super late model champion. He's used to driving loose race cars. He's used to taking care of those tires. You mix those two things with Atlanta Motor Speedway and you get a winning combination. Goes to the bottom of the racetrack looking for the race lead. Chris, your point about Ryan really comfortable up top, I think that's going to be the key to success here tonight, at least for now. Get only halfway. The tires and the track can change quite a bit between now and then, but Terry Crouch kind of makes a point in the chat as well. He says getting stuck low seems to really suck, quote unquote. It seems to be the case. It seems difficult to make those passes on the bottom unless you just have a perfect run into the corner so you can almost slide job up the racetrack. But Mike Fahey now trying to make that move on the bottom on Colt Ansley for second.
Yeah, this bottom, you have to get that run down the straight to be able to dive into that corner, like you mentioned, and be able to slide up coming off. If you miss it and you're unable to get in front of him on the exit of the corner, you're in trouble for that next straight for sure. You definitely do not want to get caught on the bottom here. Later in the run, the bottom seems to be the place that kind of you can help save some tires. That top side, you're running so much faster around that top side, you tend to burn them up pretty hard. But that bottom side, if you can make it work long term, you're going to take care of your tires a little bit more.
Ansley and Fahey still side by side as we're just past the halfway point here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We're going to take our one and only break during live action, our side-by-side break though, so you won't miss a minute of that action. Stay with us. We'll be back after this. Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop-lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics, LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws late model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, Ryan Dunkelberger continues to lead. Now 1.6 seconds the advantage. Back to second place, Will Jones. Will Jones on his own little island by himself with Mike Fahey back about 1.8 seconds in the rearview mirror. Strong run for Mike Fahey thus far. AJ Rogers has worked his way up into the fourth spot in the Apex Sim Racing #1. Josh Ingram in fifth. Completely different look from what we saw before the break, Chris. Everybody's kind of singled out, just kind of running their race now, racing the racetrack.
Yeah, just, now you're seeing a lot of it kind of spread back out. Those drivers are really reaping what they sow there from the beginning of the run. If you pushed hard, you're falling back some. If you kind of conserve, like you saw with Dunkelberger and Jones and Fahey there, if you're able to kind of get out in front and roll, you're pulling away a little bit. One thing I did notice is looks like David Bradford went into pits and has not come back out. So I don't know what happened there, but well, now I know what happened there if you look at the front of his car.
About 7 laps ago, David Bradford involved in an incident that clearly did not bring out the caution flag, but we do have it here. We'll see if we can bring it to you. Take a look. Oh, Cole Ansley and Mike Fahey coming together. A big-time hit with both drivers who were absolutely in contention to win this thing.
And you hate to see that, especially with no caution.
Chris Klein got a big chunk of it as well. That's the type of wreck you'd expect to yellow at any other racetrack in real life, but unfortunately iRacing just didn't catch it. And Katie Klein in the chat says, huge wreck on the 55. The 55's still leading. I think she might have meant the 51. That was Chris Klein, given that it's Katie Klein. But either way, I think that was it. Dunkelberger still out in front. Become a race of attrition here. We've only got 11 cars still on the lead lap. Terry Wilson, the last driver on the lead lap, in the 11th position. Mark Truxell into the dog leg. He runs in the 10th spot. Again, I told you at the beginning of this race, and I feel like I say it every single week, especially when he decides, I'm going to start in the back. Hedge my bet that chaos will ensue, and I'll be avoiding it. And he typically does. He's up 17 spots.
Yeah, I've raced with Mark a lot. He's one of the cleanest guys on the track, and he knows how to take care of his stuff. So if he can get some good fortune, especially if he starts in the back, can get some good fortune, you'll see him, like you said, up there in the top 10, usually top 5 even.
Katie Klein in the chat says lap. She was referring to lap 55, not the car 55. That makes sense. That's what I got here too. I thought she meant car number. It's battle for the 9th spot. Now for the 8th spot as Josh Ingram heads to pit lane. Truxell and Ken Couch. Couch in the white, black, and blue Ford Mustang in the top lane. Dunkelberger just checking out, so we're not going to show him for a while. He's 2.5 seconds almost ahead of Will Jones. We got Mark Cofield, I think it is, in the stream chat, asking about lap times. The fast lap of the day, at least in race trim, is 29:12. We saw high 28s in qualifying, but we are running open setups. Last lap, though, for the race leader, a 30:61. His last pit stop was at lap 36 as we run lap 69. So about a second and a half of fall off, at least so far, for at least the race leaders. Ooh, Dunkelberger up in the fence trying to clear some lap traffic as Terry Wilson goes down a lap. And we'll try to show it to you here, Mark. This is the last couple of laps. We'll change that to the last 5 laps. This is our race leader. Again, last tire change about lap 36, so 34 laps ago.
Steve, I did notice that you had tail end of the lead lap there with Mark Truxell, and I think even Wilson came in to do some green flag pit stops there. So that may be, if it goes green, I think that's the last pit stop that Truxell will have to make. Am I right on that?
It could be. Let's take a look at it so far. Again, Dunkelberger's pit windows. He comes to pit lane right now. It's like he knew we were going to talk about it. He went 36 on that first run, but we had a bunch of cautions mixed in there. This is 34 green laps. So Will Jones will take over the top spot. You see the different runs the different drivers have had throughout the race thus far.
Now, with Ryan pitting here, I think that's going to have to bring everybody else in because, in all honesty, you really wanted to be in before him with the lead that he had to gain a little bit of time there on the track. But now it's going to have to bring everybody in, you would think.
Yeah, absolutely. And Will Jones is going to roll down right now. But with that said, and I get why you say that. Obviously, the leader comes down. He's the fast guy out there. He comes down, he pits, he puts those fresh tires on. That next lap is going to be absolutely faster than the one previous to the pit. So that's more ground gained on the field. Now, the opposite side of that coin is these guys that pit after the fact. Yes, they lost some track position, but if they get some clean racetrack in front of them after they put those tires on, whether it be a lap or 2 or 3 after the race leader, well, they're going to be that much faster at the end of the run if they take care of their tires properly. That's a big if, because a lot of guys struggle with that.
Yeah, absolutely. You see Fahey in here getting ready to take his service.
So first round of green flag stops here as we are quickly approaching the end of this 3/4 distance here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's amazing how fast it ticks by. And clean up the race in just a little bit. We do have a lot of drivers out of this race already. Chris Klein being one of them. Hewitt, Hamilton Jr., Nicholson, Phipps, DeFries, and Bigley. Some heavy hitters already out of this. Multiple drivers, multiple laps down. Terry Crouch making another good point on the pit strategy. Man, I wish you were still racing, man. He's got such a racing brain. He goes, or another yellow comes out and the early pitters get stuck a lap down. We have seen that happen in the past where the leader will come down, take a set of tires, and as he's leaving, the yellow comes out and he's in trouble. Aaron Longworth in the pits. Dominic Bettini now about to be on a lap of his own as he's into turn 3. And here he comes from the top spot. That'll cycle Dunkelberger back to the lead here in about a lap. Between pit road speed, pit service, and then getting back up to speed. Should be plenty of time for the 55 to regain the lead. So 24 laps to go.
Steve, here's a prime example of what new tires does for you at the end of the run when you come in early. Mark Truxell pitted from 10th place at the start of that green flag cycle. He was the first one in the pits. Now he is up to third, with about 2 seconds on Fahey as well. So we'll see if Fahey's able to run him down on those newer tires, but his net gain is probably going to be huge for Mark.
Yeah, he may be able to run him down, but he's a couple of seconds back from Mark right now, about 1.6 back from third place. 23 laps to go. You almost got to wonder, does he have any tire left once he gets there, if he does catch him, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think Mark made a genius call there to come in when he did, to try and leapfrog as many people as you can, especially with the, you've got over a second and a half of fall off here, from the start to the end of the run. So he was out there 4 or 5 laps, putting down, low 29, mid 29s, while the other guys are running mid to upper 30s.
Now Mark Truxell with Bobby Hamilton racing. So with Bobby out of this race, he may have Bobby in his ear, kind of coaching him a little bit. That's a great crew chief to have up on the box when you can get him and you're not out there racing against him. So that could be helping Mark quite a bit here. Rodney Roberts back in the race. Certainly not in contention here, but out of this one very early on.
Yeah, he's definitely not doing Mark any favors here when it comes to the Fahey chasing him down here by Mark not being able to get to the high side either.
Look at that pace of Fahey just running up through there. Mark could throw the block. He does it gently. Little contact into 3. Again, this is the battle for the third spot. Mark Truxell has it. Fahey a little loose there. Gets the car down the bowl of the racetrack on the white line. Slips up the racetrack a bit. Saves the race car, but he's going to have to start all over again. And now he's going to have to deal with the 11 of Rodney Roberts. Fahey chooses the outside, makes short work of the 11. Fahey about a half-tenth plus faster than Truxell the last time. A tenth and a half quicker this time. Truxell being smart here, trying to defend by carrying the upper line there to have that momentum. It'll work for a lap or two, but Fahey's just got that tire advantage you talked about, Chris. I don't know if he's going to hold him off. And he doesn't. Fahey takes the spot.
Yeah, it just looks like Fahey was able to do what we were talking about earlier. He just sent it down into 1 and 2 there and was able to clear him coming off. When you drive it in that much harder, you can slide it and take advantage of those new tires for sure.
16 to go. Dunkelberger still leads, and Will Jones is closing. This is what I was talking about that 1 lap later pit stop. Granted, Dunkelberger might be kind of taking care of his stuff here, knowing that he might need to hold him off for a late race restart. But almost a half-tenth a lap quicker is Will Jones. It's only back by 2.8. There's time. Dunkelberger also trying to work his way through some lap traffic. The last time by, Jones not quicker, almost a tenth slower. Now Jones takes it back. Chris, this really just looks like lap traffic kind of slowing Dunkelberger down. He's trying to be as cautious as he can. Obviously doesn't want to hurt himself, but he doesn't want to bring out a yellow and trying to pass a lap car here with 14 laps to go. He just wants this thing to run green all the way to the end.
Yep, absolutely. And it looks like he's got some relatively clear track in front of him too. And now, Will's going to have to navigate that same lap traffic. So, like you said, it's just navigating that traffic was crucial for Ryan. I think now you'll see him kind of settle back in, running that top side like he has pretty much all night. He's just super comfortable up there. That is not a place that I can get comfortable there. It's on that high side.
Meanwhile, Dominic Bettini, who made his pit stop at lap 76, a full 5 laps after the race leader, started to work his way back through. He's taken over the 3rd position from Mike Fahey on a hard charge towards the front. He's back quite a bit, almost half a lap. He's really cutting into that. Last lap for Bettini, a 29.9 to Dunkelberger's 30.12.
Yeah, so if you see a caution here in the last 10 laps, I don't want to jinx it, broadcaster's curse or anything, but if you see a caution here in that last 10 laps, and I don't know if they've still got tires over the wall or not, but if they don't, then Bettini may be sitting pretty.
Well, the lead lap cars right now, back to 8th. They've only made at most 3 pit stops, and I know that first stop was just fuel because it was very early. There's definitely tires sitting over the wall for all of these teams. And with that few cars on the lead lap, I'd be willing to bet everybody would be coming down for fresh rubber.
Absolutely.
10 to go. Jones has cut it down to 2.6 seconds, but it's not closing fast enough. And again, Dunkelberger picks it up half a tenth quicker the last time than Will Jones. At the stripe, we'll see if that changes as Will's in a little bit of traffic himself, though he was still quicker than Dunkelberger the last time, 0.2 worth. Bettini, the fastest car on the racetrack right now, but just too far back to make it pay. Mike Fahey still hanging on to the 4th position. Truxell back about 6 car lengths in 5th. Rest of the lead lap cars, Jeremiah Holt in 6th, Aaron Longworth up to 7th, and Ken Couch in 8th. Josh Ingram in the 9th position, first car 1 lap down. And A.J. Rogers in 10th, 1 lap down. Truxell might be reeling Mike back in here, Chris. He's cut it down to about 4 car lengths. It was 6 just a couple of laps ago, and last lap for Truxell about 2.5 tenths quicker than Fahey.
Yeah, Mark does a really good job of saving those tires. I think you saw him give up a lot of time when he was fighting with that lapped car for Fahey to get back up there, but as you're talking about, he's just kind of reeling it back in. I think he's got plenty of time to get there. And catching him's one thing, passing's the other, though, right?
Dirty air certainly going to play a part in this as well. As you see, Mark drops down the low side of the track, trying to get some fresh air on the nose of that 5, put more downforce on the nose. It's within a car length, though. 5 to go. Truxell loses the entry a bit. Now the 73 of Jeremiah Holt applying pressure for the spot as well. So a 3-car battle here late in the going here at Atlanta. So Holt is there. He may get the both of these guys. Holt and Fahey made their stop both at lap 73 to Mark Truxell's lap 68.
Yeah, what Mark's able to do right here is really impressive on 5-lap older tires for sure.
Well, we've talked about it a bunch. It really comes down to how much you want to beat on those tires in the first 10 laps of the run. Really kind of dictates how they're going to cooperate at the end of that run. You really baby them for a little while. Yeah, you're going to lose a few spots, but they're going to be there when you want them later on. Doesn't mean he's going to get these spots, but he's holding his own. Back out front, less than 2 to go. Dunkelberger off turn number 2. A couple of lap cars just ahead. Eric Runge in the 42. Going to give the bottom to Dunkelberger as the white flag waves. Final lap here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. 2.8 seconds out the rear view mirror for Ryan Dunkelberger. He slides way up the racetrack as Runge hits the wall, saves the race car. Sure, Ryan's happy that happened in the rear view, not out the windshield, but one more corner to go through turn number 4, and he's on his way to win race number 2, the Red Clay 150. Checkered flag waves. Dunkelberger wins it. Jones will come home in the second spot. And all the way back in third, Dominic Bettini will cross the stripe for third. So Dunk picking up the win here. Second race of the season. Keenan Kimber, Ryan Dunkelberger, the first 2 winners of the season. I got to be honest, I didn't have that on the bingo card.
Yeah, it's not what you would anticipate, but it's cool to see it happen.
I really got to give a call here to David Bradford and Bobby Hamilton Jr. setting this league up the way that they have. They had really high hopes for it. They had really successful practice races, and this is going to be competitive. This is going to really give an opportunity to those guys that, you know, they may run well, but they're not usually in contention for wins. But here you have it, 2 weeks in a row. Dunkelberger's got talent, but the ringers that you'd expect to see in victory lane every week out of this one early. So Ryan picks up the win here. We're going to step out for a minute, get our break out of the way. We'll be back with our top 3 finishers after this. Stay with us. Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop-lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics, LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws Late Model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Red Clay 150, Race 2. The PSRA Open ARCA Series in the books. Ryan Dunkelberger, our second winner of the season, picks up the checkered flag. Let's see if we can get a word with our race winner and bring the driver of the number 55 up into the broadcast booth and get a word. Ryan, it's Steve and Chris with Track Limits. You got us?
I got you. You got me?
Got you loud and clear, Ryan. Congratulations, man. Third place start, fast in qualifying, but lights out fast here in this race. We saw you kind of work your way into that top two and then get out in front and really never look back. We know clean air is important. It makes a big deal here, but tire conservation and a little bit of strategy pays off as well. What was the game plan coming into tonight, and how much of that changed throughout the course of the event?
Yeah, the first part of that thing, I was kind of just waiting to see how everybody raced. You know, we raced Daytona, and I don't feel like I got a good feel of how everybody raced, but I was just going to give the first part, you know, let it run its course and see how guys raced, and I got a pretty good idea on how it was going to turn out, and I messed up there on turn one and took a bunch of guys out. I still haven't been able to look at it, but you know, everybody was really aggressive that first part, and after we pit after that big caution, I just felt like I had to get clean air or I was going to get swallowed. I really wasn't fast being around people. I was really good, you know, alone, so it's kind of what I thought was going to happen, but I didn't think there would be so much carnage.
Not typical what we see here in the PSRA Open ARCA Series. Obviously, it's early on in the season. We've got some new faces out there, but things cleaned up after a little while. We had a long green flag run, a green flag pit cycle as well. You got in and out. You were the first one to pull off. Nobody was able to kind of undercut you as far as that was concerned. Some guys that did were starting to reel you in, but the distance was just too great there at the end. Was that kind of the plan, to come down and pit before anybody else could do it to you?
Yeah, I think some guys could have taken some shots earlier. I left some room on the table to kind of let guys pit 3 or 4 laps before me, but I didn't think I'd be fast if I did that. I just was trying to get to the end and have it filled up for the end. And I didn't want anybody, you know, having 3 or 4 laps newer tires than me, so I kind of gave it a few laps, and I thought Will was going to go under and, you know, do it right before I was, and I guess he didn't, and he saw me go and came the lap after, and basically after that I felt like I was pretty good. I didn't think anybody was close enough, but Will was pretty good on the short run there, and then, you know, 5-8 laps he kind of fell off, and we kind of just maintained that pace, and we ended up getting it.
Checkered flag it is indeed for you. Race 2 of the season in the books. We look forward now to Kansas Speedway next week. Relatively newer racetrack versus this old scan of Atlanta Motor Speedway. Really looking forward to some really good racing out at Kansas, as it tends to produce just that. What does the game plan look like rolling into Kansas Speedway next week?
Hopefully it's the same thing. We're kind of working on a setup now, getting prepared. I don't think I have anything great yet, but, you know, I didn't think I had anything great beginning in the week last week. So I tend to like these older tracks where long runs kind of have some big fall off. I don't think Kansas will have that, but yeah, we'll get another taste of who's good in the league and who's not, and hopefully it'll be another win for us.
Certainly looking forward to it, Ryan. Congratulations on the win here tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Who do you want to thank?
Yeah, I just want to thank all the Stinger Motorsports guys for bringing me in. They've been nothing but open arms and very welcome. I want to say hi to my Legend of Bando kids while they're watching. They're actually blowing my phone up right now. Yeah, so I want to thank them. I want to thank Duck Motorsports and Stinger Motorsports. Appreciate it.
All right, Ryan. Job well done. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week.
Thank you.
Ryan Dunkelberger, race winner here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Next, we're going to talk to runner-up Will Jones, who just... frankly, I think he just kind of ran out of time. I mean, the strategy was a little iffy, if that, but let's get a word with Will, see what he has to say about everything. A second-place finish for race number 2. Will, it's Steve and Chris in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you, Steve.
Will, congratulations, man. A job well done. Not great in qualifying, but as per the norm, pretty good in the race. Just came up one short. Want to talk about that green flag pit stop. Of course, Dunkelberger was able to get down into pit lane before anybody could really undercut him. Is that really the only thing you'd go back and change, or would you kind of go with it and just kind of hope for more laps?
No, I think with the fuel window, I hated the early pit. I wanted to kind of pit, either the lap with him or the lap after. Because I think there's like a 25 lap run, and I think we could go like 30 or 32 on fuel. And I was just scared if we had any green white checkers, we'd be close on fuel. But no, I done exactly what I wanted to. I was just hoping I could catch him on the track, but I had a little bit of damage on the car.
You were a little bit quicker there in the latter stages with about 15 or so to go. Just ran out of time there. So the car was fast. The driver was fast. Came up one short. Either way, a solid points night for Will Jones. Will, next week, though, Kansas Speedway. Still a mile and a half, but a very different racetrack compared to this old worn-out Atlanta. How do you prepare for Kansas?
We just got to get better than what we were this week. I mean, I had a fast car, had a fast Sandhill Farms Toyota. Just got to get a little bit better. I mean, we were fast, and I was catching him a little bit, but me and him were kind of splitting hairs there at the end. So I mean, it wasn't enough to get to him, but we got to get a little bit faster on our short run speed.
Well, job well done nonetheless, Will. Congratulations on a P2 finish here. Again, solid points night for race 2 of the season. We'll continue that into Kansas Speedway. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, just want to thank you for the broadcast every week. I go back and watch them. You do a great job, and I know you got a new addition in the booth there this time. And but anyway, thank you for doing what you do. Thank David and Derek Runge and all the teammates for putting the setup together and us having something to show tonight.
All right, well, thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck in Kansas.
Thank you, Steve.
Will Jones, runner-up here in Atlanta. Next, we're going to talk to the 49, to Dominic Bettini. Starting this season off with a bang. Let's get a word with that driver, the number 49. Dominic, it's Steve and Chris with Track Limits. You there?
Yes, sir. You hear me?
Got you loud and clear, Dominic. Congratulations. Ninth place start, third place finish. I'd say it's a positive night. What's your take on the whole thing this evening?
It was a crazy race. First couple runs right there. I don't know how many times there were crashes, but I thought I swore I was going to be involved in one, and I got into one a little bit earlier. Car spun right in front of me. Still don't really know what happened there, but overall, I was just trying to get a decent result. I haven't really had time to do a whole lot of iRacing recently, so put in some practice this week, and I was fast. Didn't expect a P3, but I was really good with the tires there at the end and was able to stretch those pretty well. I don't know what happened, that big last crash at the end that wasn't a caution kind of helped me and hurt me because I lost a lot of track position having to cut through the grass to avoid it. But I guess it took out a lot of nice cars in front of me. But overall, it was great. I love tire wear races, and can't really complain too much about a P3.
That tire strategy there at the end, coming down about 5 laps later than the race leader. You were really able to cut through the field there, picking up a couple of spots for Mark Truxell, Mike Fahey, and some others, drive you up into that third spot. Was that the initial plan, kind of run it to the bare bones at the end and then pit late?
Yeah, as long as I had the tires underneath me, I felt like that was the best thing to do. I'd rather be on the attack versus defense at the end of the race. And right after I got around the 4th place car, I felt like I was, kind of maxed out right there. If the race went longer, maybe I could have challenged up there for P1 and 2, but I was just too far back by that point.
Next week, we got Kansas Speedway, another mile and a half. Not likely to see as much tire fall off at that place as we did here tonight. What's the game plan into Kansas next week?
Oh, man. No tire fall off. I think it's going to be a pretty crazy race there, too. I think the game plan for a lot of these mile and a half tracks with a lot of drafting is to try to be in the right position to not get killed by just other accidents. I had some of my buddies, some of my teammates who were real fast tonight. They got taken out in wrecks that weren't their own fault, and that stunk, and I felt like I was just kind of in the right place, right time to not be involved in those. So I guess the same strategy to Kansas, just try to keep my nose clean and save tires as much as I can, and hope to be there at the end.
Good balance of talent and luck. I'll take it any race week. I get that opportunity. Dominic, congratulations. 3rd place here at Atlanta. Who do you want to thank before we let you go?
Thank you. I'd like to thank my teammates, Keenan, Rodney, Aaron. Good shout out to Aaron with the strong P6 there. Derek and David. Derek brought an absolute rocket ship this week. I hate that he didn't get the finish he deserved, but man, that thing was great in the long run. My girlfriend Kenzie, if she's still watching, my mom, if she's watching, I don't know if she is, and really anyone who's come out tonight to watch the race, my buddy Jason too, Dalton, whoever's watching right now. Thank you for taking the time to do so.
Fair enough, Dominic. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week.
All right, thank you.
Dominic Bettini, third place here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. That's going to do it for the interview portion of tonight's broadcast. Let's go ahead and look at our race results. Of course, we talked to Ryan Dunkelberger, Will Jones, Dominic Bettini, the top three already. Mike Fahey managed to not wreck this time. Wasn't for a lack of trying. He'll finish in the fourth spot. Aaron Longworth brought it home in P5. Jeremiah Holt was sixth. Mark Truxell late in this race falls back to the seventh spot. Still a solid run for the five. May have been some issues there with another driver out on track. Ken Couch finishes in the eighth spot. Josh Ingram was ninth, the first car lap down. 10th was A.J. Rogers. Terry Wilson, a strong run for the three. He comes home in third. Braden Bradford, after a crash, he'll finish 12th. Frank Griffith was 13th. 14th place was Derek Runge. 15th went to Brandon Minnick. Really didn't talk much about him at all tonight. He was 8 laps down, likely involved in one of them early cautions. Rodney Roberts, same story, finishes 16th. Last week's winner, Keenan Kimber, was 17th. Chris Klein involved in a crash, 18th. David Bradford, the same, 19th. Colt Ansley, the same, 20th. Drew Blaze with some damage, 60 laps down, 21st. Will Hewitt, a crash, 22nd. Bobby Jr., a crash, 23rd. Matt Nicholson, I think the same story with himself in 24th. Andrew Phipps, Alan DeFries, and Corey Bigley, 25th, 26th, 27th to round this one out. They're going to be happy to get out of here and go on to Kansas and start fresh next week. With that said, thank you guys all for tuning in here tonight. I know we had some chaos at the early stages of this one, but we had some really good racing between then and the checkered flag. I expect we'll see more of that next week at Kansas. And again, I got to thank you, Chris, for jumping up here in the broadcast booth and helping us out, filling in for Zach Millett on the nights that he's out at his actual job working. So I appreciate you being here with us. You've broadcasted here at Track Limits in the past. It's good to have you back in the fold. Yeah, glad to be here, Steve. I'm happy to join anytime I can, and even if Zach's here, and I just jump in and shoot around with you guys, and let me know anytime I can be here. Pleasure to have you, Chris. Thanks again. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Thank you for the stream chat. That was real busy here tonight. We don't always get that. We really do appreciate that kind of interaction. Speaking of interaction, if you haven't already done so, like and subscribe. We don't charge a subscription fee or anything like that. We just like those numbers to go higher and higher and higher. Same thing with the thumbs up. Just click it. It's free to do. If you haven't already done it, please help us out with that. It really pushes these streams out to some fresh eyeballs that may not have any idea what we're doing over here, but maybe they're race fans. Maybe we can make them race fans. At the end of the day, that's always a good thing. But that's going to do it for us. Congratulations again to Ryan Dunkelberger picking up the win here in the Red Clay 150. We'll see you guys next week in Kansas. Thanks for watching.
I was raised off of Route 3, out past where the blacktop ends. We'd walk to church on Sunday morning, race barefoot back to Johnson's fence.
It's where I first saw Mary on that roadside picking blackberries. That summer I turned a corner in my soul down that red dirt road. Her daddy didn't like me much in my shackled up GTO. I'd sneak out in the middle of the night, throw rocks at her bedroom window. We'd turn out to headlights, drop by the moonlight, talk about what the future might hold down that red dirt road.
It's where I drank my first beer, it's where I found Jesus, where I wrecked my first car, I tore it all to pieces.
heaven's full of sinners and believers. Learned that happiness on earth ain't just for high achievers.
I learned I've come to know there's life at both ends of that red dirt road. Mary, oh, I got her back again. Driving home tonight feels like I found a long lost friend. It's where I drank my first beer. It's where I found Jesus. Where I wrecked my first car, I tore it all to pieces.
I learned the path to heaven is full of sinners and believers. Learned that happiness on earth ain't just for high achievers. Oh, I've come to know there's life at both ends.
Oh, I've learned and I've come to know there's life at both ends.